Gotta love the music. Trying a slightly different angle. It's kind of weird because you're seeing side, but whatever. Don't care. I'm hoping you'll actually be able to see what I'm doing a little more. And the lighting will be a little better because that's the only window instead of all of those windows, and you can see the tools. Blah, blah, blah. Thinking this might be a better angle. Is that better? Yeah, I kind of like that better. Gets rid of the insulation. I got to get something on that back wall. Cover the insulation up. Don't like that insulation. Anyway, on that note, let's actually get some work done. My back is still annoying me, but it's not. Oh, but that's not helping. It's not terrible. And I guess that clamp wasn't very tight because it just fell right off. And let's run into everything trying to get over here. There we go. Big old clampy thing. I'm going to push anything off the back. Yep. Oh, we can put it right there. That'll work. So this is like a shelfie thing for my brother. And I need to unclamp. And it goes this way, of course. Which is... Clamps are heavy. What's up, Matt? Let's see, this one's on top. So let's do this one first. And this one's on top, so let's do this one next. And then let's do all these little ones. How is life, Matt? I need to lose weight. I'm going back to trying to lose weight. Because I need to lose weight. Come on, let go. What is the issue? What are you hanging on to? I'm not going to go anywhere with these because I got 2 more of these to glue up. And I need more clamps. Hey, no. So I've actually been out here a while. I just recorded a using 3D printer in your workshop video I'm going to try and make. I'm going to start making YouTube videos again, I think, on occasion. Just for giggles. Okay, how did I tighten that with that there? Clamps, clamps, and more clamps. These are the best clamps, right? And 1 shelf done, all glued up. All I gotta do is a bunch of sanding and cleanup. But I have more right here that need to be glued up, all cut and ready to go. And this one's going to be a jolly good fun, because this one's bowed. This might be a challenge. Yeah, I just did a video on my using 3D printing like these to make your life better out in the shop. It should be a good video. All the parts cut. I'm going to flip this around because it's going to freak me out if I don't. This is the back where these little notches are. They like clip in the shelfie hardware. The shelfie hardware. The hardware for the shelfie. Fronts. Backs. sides. This one goes in here because it's tapered. Side. The double rabbit. Not that you guys care about a double rabbit, but the purpose of a double rabbit is if I put the glue in here and not in here, there's the key. When I put this on here, what's up, Titan? How is life? When I put this in here like this, the glue won't squeeze out on the inside if you don't overdo it. If you overdo it, it'll still squeeze out. But the whole point of the double rabbit, when here, I'm going to be going to this surface, and some squeeze out will get on the surface, but it won't hopefully squeeze out all of it. So that's the point of a double rabbit. So just so you know, you rabbit the wood, you rabbit the plywood, you put the glue on here, no squeeze out here, nothing to clean up. There might be some on the bottom, but who cares? Just gluing up some shelves. I've been doing little things after blowing up my back that I'm trying not to overdo it. But I've been making shelves for my brother. He had a custom cabinet made in his house in remodeling. Him and his wife had it remodeled. It's actually her house. That they're married, but it's her house. Their house now, I guess. Whatever. Anyway, they had custom shelving made in the kitchen out of an old closet that was kind of a weird situation. It's an old house in Newport. Anyway, the builder made some shelves, but they're kind of hokey. And these aren't going to be great. I mean, this is all just like, I don't know if you can see it, but there's like wormholes in this. This is local maple that I bought. Like, I guess, well, me and my oldest brother, different brother, bought more as a plywood. It's really nice maple. It's super hard. It's local. Some kids cut it down, and then they have a little mini mill, and they mill it up into like 8-foot boards, like 3 inches thick, and then they what they call tarp dry it, where they get big black tarps, and they make a big tent, and they stack it up in the tent outside, and the sun beats on it and heats it in the summer and winter and blah blah blah, and it basically you just leave it there for a couple of years, and it dries the wood out. You know, you stack it and stick it, stack it, and let it dry out. And then I bought it and I let it sit here for about a year in my garage. Actually, it was in the garage. It was next door for about 6 months, and I brought it in here in the last, I don't know, about a year ago, 6 months ago. And it's plenty dry. It might be almost too dry. So yeah, I'm using it because they don't care about the look so much. I mean, they do. I can tell my sister-in-law cares. My brother's like, whatever, make it out of plywood. I don't care. I just want it better than what he had. They want a little more space. The guy made them he made them easy, fast, small. So we're trying to make them a little larger. They're about an inch longer and about an inch and a half longer this way and about a half an inch wider. So they get more space. And they're a little nicer quality. I'm using better quality plywood. I think the guy who did it just used the roofing scrap plywoods. Yeah, being able to mill your own is a great thing. I actually have been considering getting a mini mill because I have a lot of trees here in my swampland area of Connecticut, and trees fall down all the time. Trees get cut down all the time. Most people use it for firewood, but the problem with milling your own, like literally cutting a tree down and then stacking it and letting it dry, unless you have a furnace, you need to store it for 2 or 3 years. And it's a whole process to get it to dry and not crack and split and be a pain in the butt. Yeah. I have another laser engraver. I like that word, another. I don't even have one. I have a CNC. I don't have a laser. I actually kind of need the laser right now so I can mark like cutting boards and things. But anyways, let's get to gluing because I like gluing stuff. And you know what? I'm going to put my apron on because I know I'm going to get glue on my hands, and then I'm just going to wipe it down the front of my shirt. Which is why the whole reason I bought this cheap ass apron was to keep glue off my pants. Because I have a habit of not even thinking this is obnoxious. This thing doesn't line up so well. Okay, what the frick? What is the problem here? Oh, this stupid thing. The ring pulled off. It was a cheap apron. It was $15. There we go. But it works. The actual ring tore out already. Not even a month old. And the little rings tore out of the ends, but the ring doesn't really do anything. And I bought it as a, am I going to wear an apron? Will I use it? And it's one of those I have to start using it because I do this a lot, as you can see. Get glue on my hands, and it's just destroying my clothes. So having the apron should save me from doing quite as much laundry and having my clothes screwed up all the time. And I don't think glue's going to come out of that. Oh, maybe. This is a baby bot. I like the baby bot for this. But I don't think the tip needs to be cleaned out. Come on. Come on, little tippy tip. I wonder if I could just squeeze it and have it pop. I'm trying to... My God. Look at this thing. I just put this in here because the other one cracked. I actually use the baby bot more than I use the full-size bot. Because I kind of, for this kind of stuff, it's got more control. But jeepers, come on out, why don't you? Probably going to destroy it doing this. Get the little O-ring out, which is what's holding me up. I wish they sell tips for the big one. I don't think they sell tips for this little one. This is how I always screw them up, by trying to clear it. Because I use the little one, I want this tip as tight as I can get it, which means it clogs up way easier. But I wish they sell this, you know, the nozzle and bolt and everything and the seal as a kit for the big one as replacements for like, I don't know, $4 or $5. It's cheap. But I don't think they do for this baby bot. And I really want like a whole set for the baby bot. Baby bot! I love my baby bot. If you don't know what a baby bot or a glue bot is, it's just a glue bottle. The key here is it actually, you squeeze it and it feeds from the bottom. So you're not doing this, shaking, trying to get the glue out of the thing. You just feed it and it feeds from the bottom. So it's naturally, you know, the glue settles to where you can actually feed it instead of having to constantly turn the thing upside down. And shake and all that obnoxiousness when you get low on glue. Low on glue in the bottle. And need more because the brush sucked up most of it with the first coating. And spread it out. You do that a lot too? Yeah. I think everybody naturally just does that. I hope I can straighten this thing out. That's going to be difficult. And actually, before I even start, I need to prime end grain. If you don't know what I'm doing here, end grain, side grain, side grain, end grain. End grain on wood has a hard time gluing because it sucks the glue right up and it doesn't actually let it stay in between the parts. So if you prep it with a little bit and then do all the rest of your gluing and then come back and add a little more glue, it'll actually hold. If that makes sense. Because if you let it sit on the end grain for a minute before you glue the whole thing up, it will seal the end grain. It'll suck it up and seal it, and then when you add more, it doesn't suck it up as much. You want it to draw some in. That's how it actually works. But you don't want it to draw all of it in. And by prepping the end grain, you avoid some of that sucky part. Which I should have done first because this hasn't sat long enough, but that's all right. That's what I like about the glue bot. I don't know if you can see this, but I can put a nice small bead down the edge here and just draw it out with the brush. And I don't have big globs like I do with the big bot. And that's already tacky. Now I just add a little more, set it into place, do the other one. As you can see, I don't know if you can see that already, but it's pretty much sucked all that glue up in there in just a short amount of time. That fell off, huh? I had a feeling it would until it gets clamped. Things you can do to avoid other issues. Yeah, that's like dry already. It's not dry. It's just sucked the glue up into it. So now I just add a little more, and now it won't draw it all in quite as badly. It'll still draw it in, just not as badly. Need a little more glue right here. And again, because I did the double rabbit, I'm going to have glue on the bottom here like that. But it won't, hopefully, stick up out of the top. So let's do some clampering. And there's going to be the crux of it, is getting the bow out. Might be a difficult proposition. But I think we could do it. I think we have the technology. So if I put a clamp right here, I'm just loosely clamping now so I can get everything set. Okay. Helps so I don't max out the threads on the clamp, huh? So it can actually, clamp. That should hold there. Then if I gently pull this up here, that should straighten it out in the front somewhat. Do the same in the back, and I should be able, in theory, to pull this thing into shape. And it looks about flush. And then clamp this away. And is that just sliding, or is it not tight? Because it ain't clamping. There it goes. And I have something misaligned somewhere. But that can all be fixed with some more clamping. It actually feels pretty good. And then some more clampering. And this should shift it side to side and get everything where I need it. To line up. And then do it over here on this side. So it's all square. And straight. And lined up. It looks like it is. You see, look at this thing bow. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but Harbor Freight clamps. What's up, Speedy? I'm gluing up some shelves, but I don't have enough clamps. I've actually got one more to do after this, but I can only clamp up one at a time because I don't have enough clamps. I mean, I actually do, but I really don't. This low? It is. That needs to be brought up. I might have to loosen them there clamps. Let's see, can I get it over this clamp? I believe I can. That seemed to work. Sort of. Yeah. I have more of these. Let's put it on one right here. I got a little bow in the plywood right here. Something sticking down. And I think I just need to clamp it into submission. That feels better. Looks better. Everything looks good. I love these Harbor Freight clamps when they're short, under 6 inches. I do not like them when they get this long. That's when you go to a real brand or a pipe clamp, which is my preferred method, but I don't have enough pipe clamps. Well, and again, I actually do. Let's see, I want to put this. I'm going to put more than one on this one because it's so bowed out of shape and everything. The plywood's bowed. So, yeah. These things are, I mean, look at this. That's not it moving, that's it flexing. These things are so cheap. But they do clamp. They flex while they're doing it, but they do clamp. I'm going to reset that. I'm not going to use this here. You know what? Maybe I'll use it underneath and then put it on an F clamp on top, where I'm just not going to use it. because they just suck. They just suck. F clamps are better than those. Let's see. I need a couple more little ones because I need to hold this edge up where it's curly cating. Because it's curly cating. Of course, the pipe clamp's in the way. That seems to be working. That seems to be working. Not perfect, but I think it's close enough. All right, let's put an F clamp. Yeah. Suck this all in so it's nice and tight. And another one that's a little bit too long, but oh well. And I should have. Let's see. Well, don't really have a choice. Yeah, I do. I can put this one through the bottom. Then I can fold this one down. This one through the bottom. Clamp that one down. Nice and tight. And then I can put one more this away. Right up next to this puppy. Oh, crap. And I think that should do me. I think that's clamped enough. I think we are clamperied. What do you think? Think I got enough clamps on here or what? Everything seems to be holding. So that should be good. I'm not even going to move it. I'm just going to leave it right there. Because I don't have enough clamps to do the other one yet. Yeah, Harbor Freight is, I'm not a big fan of Harbor Freight, but there are stuff you can get there that's worth the trip. I need to put a little clamp here, and I don't have another little clamp. Do I though? You know what? I don't think so. That's so close, and no one's ever going to see it. Because I'm using undermount. These are getting undermount guys. So as long as it hits that plywood flush, and this edge is flush, it should be all right. I should slide that in just a hair. Can I go in on this side too? Yep. That should hold, and I can actually get a better grip on the plywood with this one. I think it's all tacky now anyway, so any movement I do now is just going to break the glue bond. But it's good enough. It'll work. Yeah, Harbor Freight's fun. It's there's stuff I would absolutely not buy there, but things like clamps. There's actually a guy that 731 Woodworks or 731 Shop or something like that on YouTube. He's a guy that does YouTube, woodworking YouTube things. Does like 3 a week. It's ridiculous. He almost overkills it. Um, he seems like a nice guy. You can tell he's doing YouTube for the money, which is fine. But he's actually pretty good. He does reviews and stuff. But he just did a video on Harbor Freight and what to get there and what to avoid. And his theory is, and I kind of agree with it, the less moving parts, the better. So stuff like clamps. I love Harbor Freight 6-inch clamps. I hate Harbor Freight, like anything over a foot. They don't beef the rod up at all. They're great for the 6-inch, but when you get into the couple of feet, they're just too wimpy. I mean, they still work, but when you get to bar clamps, though, I actually prefer Harbor Freight's 1/2-inch bar clamps, and for no other reason than they're like a quarter the price or a third the price. These are $6. The Betsy's, I have a set of Betsy's, are $19 a piece, a pipe. These are $6 a pipe, and you have to buy the pipe too. The clamp doesn't come with any pipe, with either one of them. No bar clamp, pipe clamp does. You just get the 2 red parts, the 2 ends. I need a desk clamp to save me screwing into the bench. A clamp or a vise? Sounds more like you need a vise. I'm actually going to build a vise right here on the end of this. This is all planed off now underneath. I did it, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. So I'm going to build an end vise, a Moxon vise for the end of this bench eventually when I get caught up with all the other stuff. I'm kind of a little behind because I've been out of commission for a week because I blew my back out. But I'm going to put a Moxon vise on. I actually bought the hardware, and maybe I'll do that today. I got a CNC, like the handles and stuff. I don't know if I bought the right rod or not. I was just in my local hardware store, and it was like, I don't know, $7. So you can buy Moxon vise kits, but even the cheap ones are like $50. And I mean, it's just a piece of threaded wire with some nuts. I bought some nuts and some washers and a big old, I don't know what this is, 5/8 threaded rod, I think it is. I just grabbed one. I said, that looks about the right size. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this was 5/8 threaded rod. Just a cheap galvanized threaded rod. I got out of the store, I think I was under $10 with everything I got here. And I'll make a wooden Moxon vise. I can make 2 handles easily. I'm gonna do them on the CNC just because I want to play with the CNC more than anything else. You can make them out of just with a regular, like a bandsaw and a frickin' drill press if you want. But I'm just gonna do it on the CNC just because it'll be fun. Buy a tree. No, Christmas tree. Have fun with that. I avoid that crap these days. My parents got a fake tree years ago. They keep buying fake trees, and I just don't. If you saw my house, you'd understand why I'm anti-tree. My mother's a junk collector. The house is a clusterfuck, to put it mildly. And then she wants all of us to come over and move all her shit out of the way and stack it in some corner in someone else's way so she can have a tree. And that just irritates me. I don't mind the whole Christmas tree thing. She thinks I'm anti-Christmas tree. I'm not anti-Christmas tree. I'm anti-clusterfuck. I do not like being clusterfucked. Pardon my French, but I absolutely hate it. If you have to stack shit in every wall in a house, man, I'm gonna stop whining about it. I don't like being clustered, and she clusters, which is why I'm anti-Christmas tree because there's just no room for it in the house. There's too much shit in the way. So, yeah, and I'm not gonna do it today, anyways. Well, I have a feeling one of my brothers will come over, and because I literally like I don't know 6 7 years ago, she really I mean the house was the worst it ever was, and it was when she first started getting sick, and we all sort of noticed Dad was getting sick because she's been she's been having medical issues for like 15 years. But my father was fine, and they were both retired, so he basically took care of her. Well, we all started noticing, he was driving the car into crap and was forgetting everything, not paying the bills for like 6 months at a time because he just forget. And he was going blind too. He had two aneurysms or something in his left eye. He was going blind in his left eye. He kept driving the car into crap. So we were like, okay, and that's basically when I quit my job and moved home and started working around here and helping him out. And then he went completely nuts and got really sick. And then I had to take care of both of them. And then he passed away. And now it's just mom. But she's a freaking. I won't. I can't stand cluster. Putting up the holiday tree with just junk stacked around, and I mean, not just like a couple of boxes here and there. I'm talking floor to ceiling crap, just garbage, junk we don't need. Because you might use it someday. I'm so anti you might use it someday. That is the stupidest freaking comment I've ever heard. I am a get rid of it. But then you might use it someday. You know what? Here's the thing. If I get rid of 100 things that I might use someday, and I have to reuse even 5 of them and go out and get them again, I'm still 95% ahead. I will not. I'm just done with the whole keeping stuff because I might use it someday, and I still do it myself on occasion. But then I look at it. My plan is if I haven't used it in a year, it goes in the I should get rid of it pile. If I haven't used it in 2 to 5 years, it's going in the garbage. It's out of here. I don't need it. If I haven't used it in 2 years, it's going in the garbage. I do not need it. Not gonna bother. It's not saving you anything. Just sitting there in your way, making your life miserable on a day-to-day basis. I hate cluster. And I cluster. I do it myself. I cluster stuff up, and then I'll just snap, and everything will go in the garbage. I have moments of clarity. There's a glue blob here. I want to get off my bench. It should come right off because the bench is polyurethane. And glue really doesn't stick well to polyurethane. It will stick, but not well. Got most of it off. There's still a blob here, like must have gotten into the grain of the wood below. It is a workbench. I try and keep it covered and keep it somewhat glue free because I kind of like this bench. I should have put a new blade on here, huh? I'll just switch the side. It looks like the back side of it's still good. So anyway, what are you guys up to today? Besides Speedy going to get, is it? Ow. I keep calling him Speedy, but that's actually not how you spell Speedy. So it's Speddy. I guess. I'm not great at the English language or any other language for that matter. I'm not good at language in general. So let this sit. I'll probably come out tonight and unglue it and then glue up the other one. This should be the worst one because of that bowed plywood. I don't know why that piece of plywood. I know why the piece of plywood bowed, because I cut it and then let it sit too long after I blew my back out. But it should be at least reasonably flat now, because the maple should all hold it. And actually, this maple, which was nice, the plywood's bowed up, and the maple is actually bowed down just a little bit. So the two of them together should flatten out. That's my theory, anyways. I can't imagine these things are going to be great. It's only 1/2 inch plywood. So if he loads them up, I know one of these, his KitchenAid mixer sits on. That's you're not gonna, that thing. Those things weigh 100 million pounds. It's gonna bow under that KitchenAid. There's no question about it. Which is why he's using undermount, so it gives it a little more strength under it. Underneath. On that note, my back's beginning to bother me again already. I did my little video, so I might go in and edit video. Or I was also thinking of doing a live video of designing my next 3D printer, which I really got pretty clear in my head how I want to do it now. Not 100%, but I got ideas. So it's time to start actually designing. And I got parts mostly, because I tore the other printer down a month ago or so. So I think it's time to start actually designing my next 3D printer. I haven't done one in, I don't know, years, a couple, 3 years. Let's see, the only fully designed by me, well, kind of all of mine were fully designed by me, but they were redesigned. The only fully designed one I've ever done is the Llama Core, which is my Core XY. That was 100% my own design, other than, basic concept of Core XY, but how it's all run is that printer is 100% me. And then I've done, I don't know, 5 or 6 reconstructions of bed slingers, which I don't want to deal with ever again. And my new one is going to be a cross gantry, which is not an Ender 5. An Ender 5 is not a cross gantry. It is a regular Cartesian printer, which they all really are. But cross gantry is more closer to Core XY, but not with. There's still a lot of shorter belt paths. There's more individual belts, but they're shorter runs. And it should be much easier to diagnose when there's issues, because after running a Core XY for 6 years now? 7 years? 6 years? 7 years? 8 years? Something like that. I don't know, 6 years, I think. 7 years. I've had the Core XY. I did Core XY before Core XY was cool. I'm serious. My Core XY I started building before Core XY was like mainstream. Everyone was like, "Oh no, that's just too complicated." And I'm like, "No, it makes more sense." But now it's mainstream. Everyone's like, "Yeah, Core XY is great." I remember people going, "Core XY sucks. It's too complicated. It's gonna have issues." It's like, yeah, but that's why you design it. You figure out the issues. Anyway, I'm gonna do a cross gantry, which is basically an X. And you have a motor that moves it this way, and you have a motor that moves it this way, and the two of them together, where they meet, is where the head is. So instead of having one gantry like a Core XY, that the belts do all the work and it just slides it back and forth, and then the head slides on that one gantry, there's actually 2 separate gantries. The head is tied into nothing. It basically free floats on those 2 gantries. And how it works is it's locked into an X gantry and it's locked into the Y gantry. So if the X gantry goes back and forth, it just moves on the X gantry. And if the Y gantry goes back and forth, it just moves on the Y gantry. And it's a very cool concept, and I think it'll be better. Because Clark's Y is good. Don't get me wrong. I love my Clark's Y. There's definitely issues with Clark's Y, mostly with maintenance and troubleshooting and diagnostics later. When it starts wearing out, it's hard to find what's wearing out with a Clark's Y. It's like a pulley goes bad, and it's really hard to figure out which pulley's going bad. Where if you have each, X gantry isolated from the Y gantry, isolated from the Z gantry, if the X starts going, it's the X. Yeah, there's still things there that it could be, but it's a much more limited possibility of what it could be. So, anyways, that's why I'm gonna try it. That'll be my next printer, and of course, I'm gonna do it on a cheap with wheels. Which everyone's like, oh, linear bearings, linear rails. It's like, for one, can't afford linear rails. LMUs are not better than wheels. I know there's people that keep saying, oh, LMUs are better. They're just not. Are they any worse? No, but they're not better. And there's definite advantages to wheels over LMUs, especially when you get into bigger printers. 8mm rods are not rigid. 20mm aluminum extrusions are way more rigid than 8mm rods are. And the little bit of play in a V wheel is much less than the amount of wobble or an actual arc in an 8mm rod. An LMU, if you put them on an 8mm rod all by themselves, they wobble. They're not tight unless you get like Machida or however you say it, ones that are like $60 a freaking pairing, and then it's like you might as well get linear rails, which are way better than both of them. But I mean, look, my CNC is all wheels. it's got way more forces on it than any freaking 3D printer does, and it's wheels. It's literally the same freaking wheel system that we use on 3D printers, and it has no issues. So I think a 3D printer with wheels, just fine. You would put it this way: those are literally the same wheels on those carriages that we use on our 3D printers. Same everything. They're open build wheels. I shouldn't say that. The actual wheels themselves, the material is the harder one. You can get them for the 3D printer. Really no need for it. They cost extra money. It's a harder material. It's a clear plastic instead of the black palm. It's much harder and more rigid and harder to damage. Other than that, the bearings, the setup, 5mm bolts, it's literally the same thing as your 3D printer. Bearings are the same. Everything's the same. Same aluminum extrusion. Bigger, beefier, but it's the same aluminum extrusion. You do that with an 8mm LMU, that thing would be sagging all over the place. It would be all gowunky, and you can't get an 8mm rod that's threaded. The threaded rod is 8mm, and it wobbles all over the place. I really want to go to a 10 or 12 or freaking ball screws to drive it, because that's the only real problem with that is the 8mm threaded rod. It wobbles, even under tension. I can't get it to go perfectly straight, which sucks. I mean, it still works. It's just not perfect. And I like perfect. But anyway, we've been almost an hour. I wasn't planning on doing a long stream. I was just going to glue up a shelf and hang out. I got some other things I can do in the house. My back is starting to bother me from moving all this crap around it weighs. That's why I'm not going to take this off the bench. I'm going to leave it right there. Kind of no point in taking it off the bench. Can't do anything else until this is dry and I can glue up the next one. And we'll go from there. So I think I'm going to kill it. Y'all have a wonderful day. I'm not even doing a raid or anything. It's just not worth it. Have a good one.